With me, obviously, the greatest of all time.
Oh, I love this man already. Wow, okay. Yeah. There you go.
Jonty, really amazing to talk to you. Whenever, I'll had a word. I remember, I think 5, 6 years ago, I had a very brief chat with you around the fielding thing, and now this is another opportunity. First, tell me about this league. What do you think of this, especially as a brand ambassador? This is, I think, a different role for you as a brand ambassador.
Yeah, brand ambassadors. I don't know if I've got too much energy for a brand ambassador. I might get dragged onto the field occasionally, but having spent so much time in India from the inception, not season one of the IPL, having first arrived in India for me as a player in 1993, and you kind of hear about railways having a team and Air India having a team. So the corporate structure was almost like the clubs of South Africa, the clubs of Australia. And the amazing thing is what T20 cricket has now done, it's introduced so many platforms for the incredible talent of India. I've almost had cricket and corporate work in reverse, because I played international cricket. I went straight from university into the South African team. Then I retired and then worked for a corporate. Whereas across India, is generally people are on the fringe of making it, they don't quite make it, and then they have to give up their cricket and then go work in corporate India. So I'm so grateful, because I think what is so evident across India every single time you come here is that there is so much talent, and all they need is a platform. And maybe they won't play for India. I mean, that's fine. But this will be their IPL. This will be their World Cup. It's streamed, it's broadcast. They can show their friends. They can record it forever. You can't take that away from them. So from that perspective, I'm passionate about cricket. I'm passionate about coaching and growing the game. And I lived in Sweden for 2.5 years, so took cricket into Europe scenario. So I'm accustomed to taking cricket where it's not as exposed. We know India, there's incredible sponsorship of the national team of sport, lesser so of other sports. But you think of corporate cricket in India, if they get a platform like this to show what they can do, I think it's just going to be next level.
Okay. Allow me to ask some other questions also, because we have a very short span of time. You being part of Lucknow Super Giants, they have recently announced a partnership with Zaheer Khan. How do you see that? And what's been in discussion about the retention rules? What do you think of this impact player rule? There were a lot of discussions about it.
Yeah, I think, as someone who was seen as an all-rounder, because I could bat a little bit and field, I think the impact rule has heavily affected the role of the all-rounder, because for a long time, the strength of a team was totally dependent almost on that pivotal role of an all-rounder, because you either had a team that was a batting all-rounder, not too many genuine all-rounders who could bowl you 4 overs or 3 overs at least in T20 and bat at number 5 or 6, be a pure batter. Maybe they faced 10 balls at the end. So I think the impact rule took that away. And I mean, it's some of the runs, the scores that we've seen in the IPL since then is just because you've got one extra batter. That you can just keep going crazy. So I wasn't a big fan of having that impact player. I think it gave a lot of young batters, especially, an opportunity, and young bowlers too, because now you could put them in the team and they didn't have to bowl 4 overs. They could bowl 1 or 2. So I think from that point of view, a lot of the unknown players got unknown in a sense that no one had seen them at the IPL before. So a lot of people were suddenly exposed to this raw talent, which we know India has.
Yes.
So I'm not a massive, as I said, not a massive fan. Having Zach at LSG, I've known Zach for a very long time.
Yes.
Obviously played cricket against him. I've worked different franchises with Mumbai, and he's a great guy. He's not somebody who gets upset and perturbed. He's somebody who is quite a sensible head on his shoulders and very passionate, very, very wise, been around the game for a long time. So I think he brings a lot to any organization.
Last couple of questions. One thing is surely about there's a lot of discussion about Rohit Sharma. You spend a lot of time with Rohit in MI. Tell me about the batter you are seeing in last 1 year. He has changed his game completely at the age of 36. We are not used to see him play like that. How do you see him in the next IPL or so? What's your view on him?
Well, I think cricket players have to keep reinventing themselves, because you get worked out. I mean, you don't change your game totally or drastically if maybe if you're not being successful, then you do. I mean, I was dropped for 2 years from Test cricket because I had a technical issue. But if you look at Rohit, so much cricket is played that if you don't evolve as a cricketer, you are going to be stuck where people can work you out. So, I think he's, from a captaincy point of view, he's been superb. I was with him at MI for, quite a few seasons.
Yes.
And he grew as a captain, which is amazing. And I think that's the best thing about him. If you look at him, the way that he interacts with he's quite a character. He's quite a naughty boy almost. He says a few things on the stump mic that you kind of, people are listening, bro.
Do you understand that?
Luckily not all of it, but it's always broadcast. It's always translated for us. So I think he's, I think what we see now is that if you finish your international career, it doesn't mean your career is over. There's still a lot of opportunity. We've seen so many guys carry on and play at the highest level at the IPL. So, I think he's still got some of his best years ahead of him from that perspective.
Okay. Just one answer briefly. You want MS Dhoni to be back in IPL?
Yeah, it's quite tough because, Econo Stadium, it's our home ground, and when
Yellow
CSK
jerseys.
comes, it's just yellow. So I don't mind MSD if you want to relax for when you play against us. LSG, no problem, stay at home, No, we love having. I mean, it's so good for the game. You no matter what color shirts, Virat the same thing. When Kohli comes to play us, it's a bit closer to our red and blue, so we're not too phased so much. But when the yellow man is there, when number 7, it is a yellow stadium. But it's so good for the game. I mean, that is incredible. So from that point of view, love you, MSD.
Lots of love, and as I mentioned, the court fielder, Jonty Rhodes. Thank you so much for your time.